Eugene Jacques Bullard was born on October 9, 1895, in Columbus, Georgia, the seventh of 10 children. His father, William Octave Bullard, was a former slave who had escaped from his owner and settled in Columbus, where he opened a shoeshine parlor. Bullard's mother, Josephine Thomas, was a Creek Indian from Oklahoma. Bullard grew up in a racially segregated society where opportunities for black people were limited. He attended school for only a few years before running away from home at the age of 11. He traveled to Norfolk, Virginia, where he worked as a cabin boy on a ship bound for Scotland. Over the next few years, Bullard traveled the world, working as a boxer, a vaudeville performer, and a street musician. He spoke several languages fluently, including French, German, and Spanish. When World War I broke out in 1914, Bullard was living in France and immediately volunteered to fight for the French army. He was assigned to the 170th Infantry Regiment, where he quickly distinguished himself as a brave and skilled soldier. Bullard fought in some of the most brutal battles of the war, including the Battle of Verdun and the Somme Offensive. In 1916, Bullard was severely wounded in the Battle of Verdun and was unable to return to the front lines. One source claims that Bullard made a bet with a friend during this time for $2,000, that despite his skin color, he would be able to enlist in the French flying service. He then joined the French Air Service as a mechanic and eventually did train as a pilot. On May 5, 1917, Bullard became the first African American to earn his pilot's license, and soon he was flying combat missions over enemy lines. Bullard flew for the Lafayette Escadrille, a unit of American volunteer pilots in the French Air Service. Over the course of his career, he flew more than 20 combat missions and was credited with shooting down 2 enemy planes. Despite facing racism and discrimination from some of his fellow soldiers, Bullard's bravery and skill as a pilot earned him the respect of his French comrades. After the war, Bullard remained in France and continued to fly as a civilian pilot. He also worked as a drummer and a nightclub owner. When World War II broke out in 1939, Bullard volunteered to fight for France once again, but was turned away due to his age. During the Nazi occupation of France, Bullard worked for the French resistance, smuggling downed Allied airmen out of the country. He was later forced to flee to Spain, where he was briefly imprisoned before being released and allowed to return to the United States. In his later years, Bullard ran a nightclub in Paris and became a beloved figure in the city's African American expatriate community. Despite his heroic service to his country, Bullard was largely forgotten by the United States, and it was not until 1994, 33 years after his death, that he was posthumously commissioned as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Air Force. Bullard's legacy as the first African-American military pilot and his contributions to the French military during World War I have since been recognized by the United States, with his military achievements honored by the U.S. government and the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force. Eugene Jacques Bullard's life story is a testament to his courage, perseverance, and determination in the face of adversity. Despite facing discrimination and racism, Bullard never gave up on his dreams and became a trailblazer in aviation and military history. His remarkable life serves as an inspiration to people of all races and backgrounds.